we heard a story about a brother and sister that were going to be broken up because of foster care. And that really kind of touched my wife and I's heart.
When you're home and you listen to the news and read the paper and you hear about the kids that are being abused and neglected, it's clear that you have an obligation to help. They are our most vulnerable citizens, and it's imperative that everybody get involved.
We have really ignored the local needs of people around South Florida, and 2 years ago we decided to stop, drop, and change that. And so we went out and started looking, what could we do to help? And 4 kids popped in front of me.
The stories that these kids had gone through, it worked on me really, really bad. So I enjoyed 3 or 4 years of staying on the board and working on the board. And then from that point on, whether it was conviction or just feeling guilty about how blessed we were, came home to Terry and said, I think we need to do something other than just be a board member. And at that time we started considering whether or not we should be foster parents or not.
So it really opened my eyes to the need that our community, needs to really reach out and help these kids, because they're not going anywhere.
The first morning that we went to Safe Place, there were children there that had just been taken from their families the night before, and baby Alex was there. And baby Alex has had a profound impact on my life, on Junior's life. This child was so precious and just reached out and grabbed my heart. And I've joked about it since then that if I could have stuffed him into my purse and gotten out the door with him, I would have. I sat with that child while he had his Cheerios. We shared Cheerios. I held him in my arms. And from that moment on, I knew that God had placed the two of us together there that morning for some greater purpose than I could ever be aware of. And I knew also at that point that 4 kids was going to be a part of our lives.
You have to find out where you're comfortable. Some people like giving a check. Some people want to be a volunteer. And there's just numerous ways for a single individual to get involved and make a huge, huge difference in a child's life.
They needed a video, and as a producer, I decided, well, what greater thing than to be able to use my God-given talents for something that really might help out the children. And I could see from being inside the ministry that there was really a need to find these wonderful kids' homes. So I wanted to be part of that.
It's as simple as going to having a lunch and just sharing what 4 Kids is doing and seeing how people are just excited to be able to see how they can be part of changing lives.
When I first got involved, I just felt like, hey, I was just this one guy that was going to get involved, and I first started off sponsoring a table at an event, and then next thing you know, I started to contribute funds, and writing a check was great, but then I realized I needed to do more than that. So then I went ahead and got myself involved, behind the scenes. And now I think just out of the people that I've introduced to 4 Kids, I'm seeing just my little voice, that's multiplied 10 times already now, because I've brought in now people that are wanting to get involved, and they're bringing in people that want to get involved. So before you know, it's a chain reaction.
I had the opportunity to actually come to the rescue of my own niece and nephew that were in foster care. And 4 Kids of South Florida gave me the resources to be able to make a difference in their lives.
Unfortunately, it took like 2 or 3 months for us to end up getting a child, but once we got that child, we raced down there and picked him up, and there he was, and they just hand him to you. And we grabbed him and loved him and held his hand and walked out as he was crying, looking back at his sister who was left there. And all he had was a little blue bag. That was it. That was his possessions. So we put him in our car, drove him home, and as we drove home, we saw a couple of policemen, and he ducked when he went by them. And it was just something that was beyond our imagination that this could happen. So we brought him home, and we found out after a couple months that the only difference between he and all the other kids that we have The only thing that's different is nobody loved him. We loved him. And our friends loved him, our family loved him, and our kids loved him. And he's just like us. And today he's adopted with his brother, living awesome.
It's more important right now to come alongside these kids that need help. So we put our dream home on the side and decided to invest in a home for kids. You're not providing a house. You're providing a home, a sanctuary, a place where kids can go to bed at night and know that they're safe.
There are 500,000 churches in the U.S. There are 100,000 kids waiting for foster care homes on any given day in this country. You can do the math and see how solvable the problem actually is.
I think we've had 2 sets of trainings in our church. About 45 individuals and couples have gone through it and are now in the process of fostering, and some fostering to adopt as well. So it's really caught an incredible heartstring in our own congregation.
We as an organization encourage our associates to get involved in the community. In fact, we provide 2 hours of paid leave per week to allow them to get out and mentor students or children or just help in any way they can. We also actually, for qualified non-for-profits, we will match dollar for dollar any financial contributions that they make as well.
We determined that we would give a percentage of the gross revenues of our business directly to 4Kids to make an investment in those who are making an investment in others, the children of our community.
I'm currently an empty nester. You know, I have one child off of college and one currently in college who's going to be moving away. And when my son comes home, he's home in every sense of the word. And when I met these people, these kids, these young adults that were the same age as him and were living in not really a home atmosphere with a sense of family, my heart just bled for them. And before I know it, I'm designing for a whole house and meeting individuals and just experience such joy from interior design.
You know, we'll see the fruits later when they leave care. And there are some incredible young adults aging out of foster care who are now able to sustain themselves because of the love and guidance they receive through 4Kids of South Florida.
I'm really looking forward to continuing and growing the partnership that 4Kids has with Bank of America. It's an area that is a key priority to us. We think an investment in these kids is an investment in our community and in our future.
And if we create a generation that could be the potential next crowd of victims, and we turn that around into the next group of victors and champions of our society, and move that into position that's their next talent pool, that's a very exciting opportunity for business leaders.
What I'm doing is right, and it's meaningful. I'm serving my purpose. I'm living and fulfilling my destiny, and no one stands any taller than he who stoops down to, lift up a child.
You know, being involved with this is a lot more fulfilling and satisfying than just being a bank president.
When you've actually done something aside from the money, if you've spent a little time, been on a committee, made a difference, it's very rewarding.
I now feel like these young adults are, because they are all my children's age, I feel like they're my kids. So no, I do this for them with a mother's heart.
No longer is foster care just a word. Now it's a real sense of relationship and knowledge as to what that is.
You take a walk through one of these vision tours, through one of these homes, and see what these homes are doing for these kids. They're saving them.
This is the true meaning of an investment property because you're invested in kids' lives.
And it was a neat thing for us to teach to our kids because they had already known about this home we were going to build, our dream home, and they wondered when are we moving into it. And we said, well, there's been a change of plans. There's some other kids. We think it's more important that they would have a roof over their head, that they would have an opportunity, and to hear the stories that are coming out of the house of kids in college and working and just blessing the community with their lives is a miracle for us to pass on, not only to our own children, but those kids are also passing on to the next generation.
I think each of us struggles with, what am I leaving to my children? And you can look at your bank account and you can say, well, here's your trust fund, or here's all the things I'm leaving you, and that's all well and good, but those things of the world will pass. What you truly leave behind for your children, the real legacy you leave behind, are the lives that you've impacted, the difference you've made in your community, and the role models that you have created for them